Good afternoon, children. In our last class, we completed this lesson number 9, that was Establishment of Company Rule in India. You read about various wars in this lesson, ABC part also that day we did, and value-based questions and something to do. One map pointing was also given to you, and I hope you all must have completed it. Now today we have to do it answers of D part and E part. They are a little bit longer than ABC part. So let's start the first question of D part of this lesson. The very first question of D part of this lesson is, which Portuguese explorer discovered the sea route to India? How did this mark the beginning of European era in India? And its answer, first you take out page number 101. On this page number 101, you see the very first line is giving Vasco da Gama landed at Calicut in 1498 and marked the beginning of the European era in Indian history by the 16th century, and the Portuguese had established their colony in Goa. In the east, in that next century, India became a popular destination for a large number of European traders, adventurers and missionaries from England, Spain, France, Holland, etc. From this part only we have to find it out the answers of D first. And from here only we will get it. Who discovered? Vasco da Gama discovered. When? In 1498. At which place he first arrived? At Calicut, and it was only marked the beginning of the European era in Indian history. From here you have to take it out. Later on I will give you PDF of this answer also, which you will have to write it in your history notebook. Now come to second question of D part. Second question is, why did the European trading companies set up trade centers in coastal areas? The very first answer, the very first idea which came into our mind is that time water transport was the most easily available transport, and it was cheaper also. Then it was easiest mean of transport, and the answer for the answer of this D second part, again come to page number 101, and here in this paragraph, trading companies. Here you see it is written, many European trading companies established their trading centers in coastal areas of India because it was very easy to transport the materials through sea route. And here about the factors I told you, the trading centers were called factories, and factories means the place where factors or official worked. Some of the factories were fortified, means surrounded as a safeguard from the rival trading companies. Then this point also we can write, they bought spices, cotton textiles, indigo and saltpeter at cheap rates from India and sold them in Europe and America at high price. As a result, what happened? They gained huge profit, and the huge profit margin led to a competition among the foreign trading companies. This answer, D second answer, will also we can write it from here. I will, in my words, I will write it on a paper, and I will share that PDF to you on our WhatsApp group. Now D3. Explain the policy of divide and rule. Divide and rule you must be knowing. Britishers wanted to divide the Indians so that they could easily won against us, and Indian could not be united, and that's why their policy was to divide the Indians and then rule on them, and it was adopted by the British. You have to explain this policy only, policy of divide and rule adopted by the British, and what was its impact on the Indian princess? Indian princess became a mere puppet. Puppet means controlled by someone else into the hands of the Britishers. So the answer of question number D3, take out page number again 101, and then here you see that the Indian rulers signed alliances to secure the help of the English military to settle their internal rivalries. Internal rivalries means Indian princes were not united and they were betraying each other, and for that they were taking Britishers' help. As a result, what Britishers did? They took the advantage of the situation, and then the British introduced the policy of divide and rule. Which situation's advantage they took? Internal rivalry of the Indian princes, and they introduced the policy of divide and rule. As a result, what happened? The Indian princes became mere puppets in the hands of the English. That is only the answer of D3, and again in that PDF answer will be given to you. Now come to D4. D4th question is, describe the causes and the consequences of the First Carnatic War. We all know Carnatic Wars were fought between England and France. How many Carnatic Wars were fought? 3 Carnatic War. Here it is being asked about First Carnatic War only. So take out page number 103. On this page only, here you see it is written about the First Carnatic War, which was fought from the years 1746 to 48. And here it is, the Carnatic War was the result of Austrian Succession War that took place in 1740 between Austria and Prussia, and England and France entered opposite sides in this war, and that's why rivalry was between England and France in India also. Here it is written about Dupleix did not keep his promise, that when Commander Burnet, the British naval officer, arrived into India with troops, then the French opposed peace with British. That time Nawab of Carnatic was Anwaruddin. Anwaruddin ordered that there should not be any war. So Burnet followed it, and Burnet returned to England. Means Burnet followed the advice of Anwaruddin, order of Anwaruddin, that there should not be any war. But what happened from French side? Dupleix did not keep his promise. This was the main reason, that Dupleix did not keep his promise and attacked Madras and occupied it. When French occupied Madras, then the British complained to the Nawab, because Nawab's order was not to start any war. So when the Britishers complained to Nawab, then he declared war against the French. This was the reason of First Carnatic War. Then in the question it is also written what was the result. You will change the paragraph and then you will write, in that war Anwaruddin was defeated by the French. The Austrian Succession War came to an end in 1748, and the power of France weakened in India also. And in result of First Carnatic War, you will write, France was forced to sign a treaty and hand over Madras back to England. So it was only the causes and consequences of First Carnatic War. Cause was that Dupleix was from France. France attacked on Madras and occupied it. So the Britishers complained to the Nawab. Then the Nawab attacked on French, and then but Nawab Anwaruddin was defeated by the French. Then this English were winner. The Austrian succession war came to an end in 1748, and the power of France weakened in India also. Then France was forced to sign a treaty and hand over Madras back to England. Now the next question is, how did the assumption of Diwani benefit the East India Company? Diwani means right to collect revenue. This right, Diwani, Britishers got after which war? After Battle of Buxar. Britishers got this right to Diwani. Then here the question is, how this right benefited the East India Company? And for this answer, take out page number 105. On this page only you see the result of Battle of Buxar is given. The battle was beneficial for the expansion of the power of the East India Company. It gained the rule and the Diwani. This Diwani was the right to collect the revenue from Bengal. And as Bengal was the richest and the largest province of India that time, so Britishers got huge profit because they got right to collect the revenue, which included, that time Bengal included Bihar and Odisha also. Now Odisha is presently known as Odisha. Now come to questions of E part. It will be a bit longer than the D part. Here the first question is, how did East India Company become an imperial power in India? Explain. We all know East India Company came to India with a purpose of, with an intention of trading, trade purpose. But slowly and gradually it took the advantage of internal conditions of India. What was the internal conditions? People were not united. Kings were rivals to each other. Small kingdoms were against each other, and they all were supporting the Britishers. And then the East India Company became an imperial power in India. That only you have to explain it. And for this answer you can take out page number 102. Here you see in this paragraph it is written, how could a trading company become an imperial power? Here we are talking about which trading company? East India Company. And the real answer is that the East India Company became an imperial power to protect its trading interest from other European traders. Then it began as a trading company. It took over political control and became the ruler of entire India. The aim of the company was to gain monopoly. Monopoly means single right of the entire trade in the eastern part of the world. The company came into conflict with other foreign traders like French and Portuguese, and hence this company built up its own military and administrative departments to control them, and it became such a strong force that it took over the governance of Bengal, Madras, now Chennai, and Bombay, now Mumbai, and gradually the trading company, East India Company, the trading company transformed into an auxiliary government and military power, and that ended only in 1858 when, after Sepoy Mutiny, the rule of East India Company came to an end and it went into the hands of British Crown. So first answer will be from here only in point wise. I have written in that PDF. That PDF I will share it to you on your WhatsApp group. You all will copy the answers and write it in your history notebook. Now come to second question. And the second question is, what is meant by a dual government? I have told you that two types of government were working in Bengal from 1765 to 1772. Two types of governments were working in. One was of Nawab and the another was of the Britishers. Nawab had all the responsibilities but no resources, and Britishers had the resources but without having any responsibilities. And that's why, as a result, what happened? General public suffered. And the second part of this question is, how did it lead to public suffering? So this question is in two parts. Answers also we have to write it in two parts. So take out the page number 105. Here you see, in this dual government in Bengal, between which years? 1765 to 1772. It is written, right to collect Diwani by the British began a dual government in Bengal. The Nawab looked after the administration and the company controlled the army, the judiciary and the revenue collection of Bengal. This arrangement gave immense power, so much power to the British, because they did not have any responsibilities, without any responsibility, but the general public suffered. Second part of question was, how did it lead to general public sufferings? And the answer will be, thousands of people died in Bengal famine in 1770. But the company did not help the victims and the Nawab did not have the resources. So as a result, what happened? General public suffered. So this is only the answer of E second. You will write it in your notebook and I will give you this answer also. Now third question is, the Battle of Buxar was a turning point in India. We have read about Battle of Buxar, which was fought in the year 1764. And here it is written, the Battle of Buxar was a turning point in India. One side Mir Qasim, Sujauddaulah and Shah Alam were there, and other side Britishers. Here you have to give arguments to support the statement. Which statement? That the Battle of Buxar was a turning point in India. And for this answer, take out page number 104. Here you see, in this Battle of Buxar 1764, it is written, the Battle of Buxar was very important in the history of India. The East India Company's victory in this battle established British colonial rule in Bengal. How it became a turning point? Because British colonial rule was established in Bengal Presidency and subsequent expansion in British control all over India, because Britishers got control of all over India. That's why this Battle of Buxar was a turning point in Indian history. This Battle of Buxar was fought between whom? This is here written, the battle was fought between the British East India Company led by Major Hector Munro and the armies of Mir Qasim, Shah Alam II, he was Mughal Emperor, and Sujauddaulah, he was the Nawab of Awadh. And at which place? At Buxar. Now come to next question. Next question is, what was the importance of Battle of Plassey? Just before this question, we have read about Battle of Buxar, which was fought in the year 1764. Now you have to write the importance of Battle of Plassey. It was fought in the year 1757. And for this answer, take out page number 104. Here it is written about Battle of Plassey in which year? 1757. It was fought between the forces of East India Company under Robert Clive and the army of Sirajuddaula at which place? Plassey. Plassey is a place between Calcutta and Murshidabad. Mir Jafar betrayed against his own country, and Mir Jafar, who wanted to become the Nawab, bribed Indian soldiers. Means he gave attractions to Indian soldiers to throw away their weapons. As a result, what happened? Robert Clive easily won the battle. Then what was the importance of this battle? The British consolidated their position. They made their position stronger in Bengal by making Mir Jafar the Nawab of Bengal. Because of that only Mir Jafar bribed Indian soldiers, because he wanted to become Nawab. Britishers made him Nawab, and he gifted large sums of money, and one district is in Bengal, that is 24 Parganas of Bengal, to the British. But due to the constant demands of the Britishers, Mir Jafar could not fulfill the constant demands of the British. So they installed his son-in-law Mir Qasim as the Nawab of Bengal. So it was about all the question answers of this part, D and E part. ABC part we have done earlier. Today D and E part I explained you, and the answers of this part I will give you in the form of PDF on your WhatsApp group. You all copy this in your history notebook and submit on WhatsApp group. That's all for today. Thank you.